What is going on, YouTube? John from Emphatic coming to you with the latest Emphatic War recap. CCL Week 3, 102 to 103 against King Jeffrey, who is in first place. I think it's hell of a war on our end. There you see there, they got the one extra 10v10 triple. Nobody got an 11v11 in this war. There you see they got close on us, and I'm scrolling through, we just didn't get close at all on ours. Really, well, I guess Mark did almost, so with the 87%, but I think he just called something out that went crazy. Here we're going to start with Sebastian going in with Jack Ralph on Matt. And this was a base I saw get hit like 3 times. It was pretty nice plan. Really, I thought some of the funneling could have been done, or some of the defensive start could have been done in a little bit different order, but I think with the deploy angle that Sebastian did here, that kind of didn't matter, so... as you see there, they're deciding to invest the haste and a couple balloons into creating a funnel for the suicide, and that is to get access to that top Inferno Tower, which is out of range of the CC, so that's the main reason why the thing's being targeted. So gets the king down after some minions are starting to do some funneling. Queen's going to come down and assist. There's absolutely no reason for the queen to walk down towards 6 o'clock, so she's going to follow the king, stay tightly hugging the wall. And as you see here, the first wall breaker comes in, make sure there's no bombs. I don't know why we're doing test wall breakers. I think it's just mostly to see that they're targeting the right spot, and then making sure the king gets out of the range of the splash. There you see the skeletons did pop up from a wall breaker. Taking care of them. We're going to get in there, zap a couple things, and get over to that Inferno Tower. There you see Queen's taking a beating there. So as soon as the Inferno Tower connects and she takes the Wizard Tower, thankfully she targets the Inferno next, and none of the skeletons aggro her before that goes down, or else this would have been another close try that did not work. So gets the Lalo started, and he's just going to overwhelm this front spot. Make sure that he gets all the start of the defensive raid. There you see only one balloon split off. That was a problem in the previous raid, is that the balloons all split off and went south towards the Wizard Tower. That's why I thought the Wizard Tower would be the better thing to funnel first, but... before he even got a chance to try it, Sebastian already taken this thing out. So the war was a crazy start, and then time was like 5 p.m. on a weekday. And of course, I'm coming home from work and trying to help him, who's also coming back from a ride. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'll be on the phone. And they get in, and I'm like, well, good news is Sebastian already tripled it. So, and I didn't get a chance to see how my feedback would work. But there you go. Sees he's got everything. He had it all crushed, and I think we had like a 98% or something on this base. So we had another really close one too by our boy Eamon, who's a straight killer on these bases. Now let's see, he gets in his 4th straight recap. Eamon is on fire, and this time he's doing it with dragons. You've seen him do it with drags. You see him doing it with Lalo. Really, the guy is maybe getting some wall breaker confidence away from being accused of modding every week. So he's doing awesome lately. But you see here, he's got a perfect suicide opportunity. 2 air defenses that he's going to end up getting, and he's got a clone spell, he's got a Lalo. Really glad to see this attack starting to be utilized. I kept trying to suggest it constantly when we were first starting out with dragons, because I've been watching Rig's channel, and that's all he's been seeing. The Clone Bone! I like the name, so let's do it. You guys are going to... I'm going to have to see how the audio sounded, too. I end up finally bringing home my... my phone tripod from work that I never used at work because I forget why. But I end up buying it. But let's see how it does as a microphone stand, so I could talk directly to a microphone instead of over something. See if the audio is a little bit better. I think I've have to abandon these this wired headset because of all the clicking that goes on in this. Gets his dragons down. Not really anything coming in from the side funnel flanking, or so we think. But he drops that hound. Drops the clone spell on the Max Loon as it's coming in. Was very, very close to getting those dragons. Wow, I didn't see that until just now. Real close to cloning a dragon by accident. And this was one of the final raids of the war. I think it was done with like 15 minutes left. So there would have been no redeeming on this one. But there you see those balloons just tore through everything. Push the dragons back into the core. And the balloons are still going, and I think they're going to live long enough to take that Inferno Tower out. There they go. The Inferno's down. And this does get pretty close at the end here. So he's got, 3 dragons, 2 dragons now that sand popped. We did get some nice damage on the final Tesla, but it wouldn't matter if the dragons didn't get there, because there's only like 5 cleanup troops left. So final dragon gets enough puffs on it because it was a little bit weakened up from that drop, saves the raid, and this is a nice triple for Eamon, 4 straight. Good job, man. Next up, we got Exodus. This was a fresh hit. This was the first 10v10 attempt of the war. It was crazy. We had 2 fresh triples the entire war, 1 on each side, and it was the first attack. And, of course, one of them was on Sloppy, and I didn't change the base. So I have a feeling that they found the recap and just did it. And whoops, with my new extracurricular habits, I am really not in good memory mode anymore. So someone's got to help me keep track of these things. Because I did remember my 10, or my 11, which of course was the one that got the most percentage on it, which sucks. Probably led to them going to have a win, or where they would have won, no doubt, anyways, if it came down to percentage. That's one of the things that I'm noticing here as we're looking at things is, 50% hits on Town Hall 10s and 11s just ain't going to cut it in these types of wars, because being that they're no dip and not relying on basically 11s to not screw up their job, I have a feeling that a lot more wars are going to come down. And you also don't have 10v11 to throw it to take away all your Town Hall 10 hits either. But I think it's going to come down to a lot more draws, percentage wins than a CWL match would be, because you get all the 10v10 opportunities. You get 100% 10v10 chances. So if you're running with a low percentage on a base and you allow that to stand to the end of the war, you're in real danger, because it's looking to me like 88.5% plus, and 102 stars in these wars is generally a win. And here you see they exceeded that in both spots here. I think we ended up winning with 102 last week. I don't remember off the top of my head versus FFS. But it's just you sort of got to game plan the percentages again too, which is another. It's a wrinkle that we think of, but it's in CWL, but it's not something we think of until like the final couple of attacks. Like, oh crap, can we win this on percentage if it's a draw? Which I think we've had maybe 2 draws our entire time in CWL for all 3 seasons. So yeah, it's a lot more of a possibility. This one was looking like a draw until their second to last Town Hall 10 hit. It literally was decided in the last 5 minutes, although we knew that we were down percentage way ahead of time. So it really just boils down to how we are going to attack these. We did have some pretty rough 9v10s. We had 2 9v10 1-stars, which is on bases that didn't have a scout plan, which is just unacceptable. Ideally, like if our guys are listening, here's I guess some competitive intel for any of you other players that are listening in CCL or even NDL. For Town Hall 9v10, I'm always preaching 70% 2-star. And really, I'm not going to show any bases, but we had a great hit by Levi, who pretty much personified that. He ended up with a 72% 2-star. Just huge percentage, and it's really, if you're taking notes, going and finding all your percentage here. All bases that aren't going to get touched by an archer or aren't going to get touched by a mortar or anything like that, so you can get to the easy building with just minimal troop space investment. Do your queen walk in an area. If the queen walk's going to include the town hall or not, you're going to have to account for the town hall in some way, shape, or form. And then it's going to be your dive for either your town hall in more percentage, and generally, from what I'm seeing, those should not be combined. We had a guy run a witch slap, and that was barely a 42% 1-star because he went through the town hall. And it comes down to whether or not you're ever going to properly scout bitch or anything like that either, is because you honestly just can't, because you can't bring the volume of bowlers needed to power through an Inferno Tower. So the Inferno Tower is just going to cook all your troops instantly. You're not going to get past the first segment. You see nice camera management here. We already started the raid up top and I missed it. So generally, closed walk raids are just bad. Like I've seen dragon raids just get nothing too. You really gotta dissect your areas where you're gonna get the most percentage when you're on these 2-star hit ups. And then for Town Hall 10 versus 10 when you're doing the fresh, and Town Hall 11 versus 11 when you're doing fresh, it's really you got a game plan for the where the town hall is going to be at, and that the town hall does go down with that first hit. Because if it doesn't go down with that first hit, that means that the guy who's following you has to take down that town hall as well, and he might have to factor in the town hall plan in there. Because on some of these Lalo hits where it's all or nothing, or it's 3 or 1, it's just is a real possibility. You're wasting hits at that point. We saw that last week with Town Hall 11v11, where I ended up having to just run bitch on a anti-211 because nobody had factored in the town hall and everybody missed it. So I was the 4th 11 to hit it and finally got it with the 2nd star, and I only got like a 60% 2-star. Barely. I think my queen was clutch on that one. So ideally the town hall is always accounted for in any of those raids. Like either the queen walk starts there, or say if you're doing Lalo or Hogs or something like that, and the Hogs come from Town Hall side, you're dropping some minions or you're dropping wizards or something like that to get rid of it. Or maybe it's nicely available for a baby dragon to just take. Sometimes builders are nice enough to lull it for you. And then you're doing your raid the rest of the way to make sure everything else is gotten. And honestly, if it's a well-formulated plan that's not just like drop mass on a base, it's really not uncommon to see you be in the 80% at least. So, I mean, it's just some thought process, really, because in this type of format where you get the opportunity across all town hall levels to get as many stars as possible, you don't want to have to be thinking about percentage at the very end and then realizing that you might have to play for it. Having it already accounted for ahead of time. And I think I've even seen Clash with Ed talking about this in one of his videos a long time ago when they're doing the scout 2-star hits on these bases before they go and mod the crap out of it. Because if you ever watch their raids, you never see them with, or you see a lot of not perfect scores. So, either guys being lazy and not just cracking during the week or whatnot. I don't know. But you want to make sure that the first hit on there's got the percentage and the 2 stars. So, along with the trap info, so they can punch it in. And in a fair play environment, that works the same as well. You want to make sure that you know where all the tussles are, for one. So when you're doing your sketch, you have those planned. If you're picking up some bombs, cool. You want to make sure that town hall's gone, so it protects the guy that's following you, so he doesn't have to 100% accommodate that the town hall goes down if it's not the best entry for the plan. And then finally, you want to make sure the percentage is there and the chance that the base never goes down. And say all the attacks following are 1 stars, you don't want the only 2-star on there to be like a 58% 2-star from a Town Hall 10v10. That's just rough. So, I guess I'm done soapboxing. This is our final raid that we've got on here. And this was actually, I think, our top Town Hall 9 raid that we submitted to. Dirt Shot just wrecks this base. It's awesome. 2-layer wall break, which wall breakers aren't hard. A lot of people make them out to be, but they're not. Really, it just comes down to a lot of patience and knowing exactly how the AI is going to handle targeting. If I ever have time for doing training videos, I play with them all the time during farming raids, so I feel like I can probably talk pretty well on them. But again, it's all boiling down to whether or not I have time, and just don't have a ton of it anymore. So, I think Clash Life is definitely winding down, personally. Good thing it's a community YouTube channel, so I can pass it on if and when I ever decide to go. Make it all dismal at the end here. But this is a great hit. I loved it. I caught this one live too, and it was right after I did my first laptop hit too. I think I saw this, so I made sure to call this one out as we went, so that way it got its recognition. But I don't think I've really seen Town Hall 9 hits be done by Adam yet for recaps. And I'm not sure if he plans on doing top 10 hits or whatnot, but definitely this one would be one of my tops. So I don't know. I don't know if they're looking for much media help or whatnot for anything extra going in there. Guess it wouldn't hurt to ask one day, especially if you don't have to record all these hits. This was a great raid. Look at that. So it ends up using the last spell. Really probably didn't need it, but Swag Game's overrated. So good word to everybody, and King Jeffrey showed why they're in first. Real strong clan, and I can't wait to see them versus Reddit Viper, because I think that'd be a great war too. So that's about all that I got. I don't even know what we got next week for who we're facing or anything like that. So I know this weekend's war is on a media blackout, because it's kind of a training war on two ends. We're getting some good bases to hit, and a light clan is swinging up against us. Neither of us could really find a war, and coming down with the counts for accounts that we actually trust to use every week, we just really don't want to push 40 more than we have to. So nice 30v30 Premier breakdown. Help us get our game plan a little bit together for next season, because we are planning on sticking with Premier. So should be a good weekend. I'm not going to bother talk about who the opponent is, or no screenshots, no tweets, no nothing, no media. Weekend off. Sounds awesome to me, aside from the fact that I'm recording this on a Saturday morning. So rest you guys. Thanks for watching. See you sometime next week. Bye.